Fans have been wondering why the popular TV personality was MIA for so long, with rumors circulating about a neuromuscular disease in the Gutfeld family and prayers being offered up by some. Meanwhile, Greg and his wife have recently welcomed a baby, and fans are eager to hear Greg's social commentary on the exciting first days of President Trump's administration, which has seen the overturning of numerous executive orders signed by former President Joe Biden and other shocking actions. With Gutfeld's wife's unfortunate prognosis, rumors began to circulate that his return could be brief, just to say farewell to viewers. This made his silence all the more noticeable. The return of a gaunt-looking Gutfeld only served to further unsettle the fans. Even though he had been home for over 45 days, some thought he had dropped a significant amount of weight. This led to the blending of fact and fantasy. The fans are now curious about the truth. Is Gutfeld's wife ill, then? Might he be unwell? Is he really going to stop watching TV? Just so we aren't being dishonest and wasting your time, I think the first question has the simpler solution. No health problems affecting Gutfeld's wife have been reported. The most significant health-related news is the mere fact that she was pregnant once. The general population has no knowledge of that. Since the majority of rumor mongers have twisted her husband's desire for privacy about their family into a horrible, obviously untrue story in order to profit from her absence. Gutfeld, though, couldn't care less following weeks of conjecture and gossip surrounding his blatantly mysterious departure from the limelight. The television personality returned to the airwaves to share the happy news that he and his wife had a daughter, Mira, in December. He shared a brief message after the birth, expressing his excitement at the arrival of a newborn girl with his wife Elena. Mira is in good health and has functional lungs. He continued by making a joke about how his daughter inherited his strong abs and his wife's stunning eyes. Additionally, he mentioned that they are actively working on teaching her 3 languages and ensuring that she follows strict exercise regimens. Already a keen observer, she has inquired as to whether Jesse uses a toupee. I informed her that he most certainly does wear a wig. Evidently enjoying fatherhood to the fullest, Myra's new dad is eager to support her in whatever she does. Regarding his own competence as a parent, Gutfeld has been forthright enough to admit that he sucked at everything. When his wife had to feed young Mira in the middle of the night and change her nappies, he supposedly provided emotional support. I meander about and ask, is everything all right? I offer moral support, but Elena is very hands-on, so I try to stay out of her way. According to her, I'm incredibly clumsy, and she told me I'm bad at everything. While Mira slept, Gutfeld watched every single thing Taylor Sheridan had ever made for Yellowstone, he admitted to his co-host when she asked him what he did throughout the day. Gutfeld clearly missed the memo if it wasn't common for renowned individuals to acknowledge their flaws. He came clean about how his wife had taken up most of the responsibilities of caring for their newborn baby. Despite his many shortcomings, the TV star was able to accomplish a crucial task in his preparations for his growing family, purchasing a large home to raise his daughter Mira in. Gutfeld shelled out more than $10 million for the mansion in the exclusive Soho neighborhood, according to recently released property records. The news that 60-year-old Gutfeld was on paternity leave for nearly 46 days startled many followers who were unaware of his marriage. I can feel your shock. Gutfeld is outspoken about his political views, but he keeps even the most minute details of his personal life under wraps. He remains tight-lipped about his family even on his personal social media platforms. From time to time, Elena does let us in on a little bit about her family life. However, when asked about her friendship with Gutfeld, she is less candid. Actually, she has only posted one Instagram photo of her husband in their whole 20-year marriage. Rest assured, we have compiled some couples' background information. Gutfeld recounted the moment he met his wife for the first time and said he had known they would marry. I saw her and thought, oh, my wife, as he put it himself. I had a feeling. After which I attempted to have a conversation with her for 3 days in Portugal. While she was the picture editor for Maxim Russia and he was the editor for Maxim UK, they met in Portugal. She relocated to London to be with Gutfeld shortly after they started dating, but he was let go from Maxim after only 2 years on the job. They moved to New York, where they both had successful jobs, after that. During that time frame, the couple tied the knot in a New York civil ceremony. The happy pair has, unsurprisingly, been mum on the subject of their nuptials. Gutfeld has unquestionably become famous as the cool conservative, ascending to the pinnacle of Fox News, even though you may not have heard much about their marriage. He reached this pinnacle by unwaveringly embracing the principles he personally selected. Born into a Catholic family in San Mateo, California, Gutfeld went on to get a bachelor's degree in English from the University of California, Berkeley after attending the all-male Roman Catholic Junipero Serra High School. Despite his family's political leanings, Gutfeld began to shift his political views while he was a college student. His explanation for this shift was that he had become more conservative after spending time with liberals and more libertarian after spending time with conservatives. Something clearly unites the two factions, the left and the right, you see. The moralising is the worst aspect about each of them. It is rather significant to comprehend his origins of libertarianism because this leaning would constitute a substantial portion of his identity in the coming years. Gutfeld said, "As an adolescent I was a liberal," describing the shift in his perspective that occurred during that time. That aided me academically. At the school where I attended, gathering signatures for the nuclear freeze was a great way to get extra credit. Your teachers cared more for you and your pals the more invested you seemed in anything, I saw. You won't need to give it much thought if you share liberal assumptions. I thought that was fantastic because it really helped me with grades, he continues, demonstrating how he capitalized on this position. I came to terms with the fact that I was a total phony after participating in a few of school discussions that required me to think critically. Going to Berkeley prompted me to start questioning my identity. It was an extremely poor choice. Basically, all you did was go about your business while carrying a target. While he was speaking, he brought up the idea of libertarianism. Those on the left are trying to control your actions while claiming to be tolerant, as long as you don't disagree with them. Then tolerance is rendered meaningless, as it is thrown out the window. Moralising in a politically correct manner is that. The second form of moralising that conservatives get is rooted in religious dogma. However, libertarianism remains when both of those are disregarded. Fans were introduced to Gutfeld, the hip conservative, in that way. A prominent personality in American media with Fox News' The Five and Gutfeld, he was once just another college kid looking for his first job in journalism before becoming famous as a TV host, political analyst, creator, and comedian. Even though he had a degree from Berkeley, he was hired to do errands for the conservative publication, American Spectator. The celebrity said that this was the extent of his initial employment. At the American Spectator, I began my professional career. My tenure as Bob Tyrrell's assistant was just short of a year. I retrieved his dry cleaning and tuna sandwiches, and I escorted him in his diesel Mercedes. I remember the day I counted every book in his library. I also took pictures of his possessions to use as proof for the insurance company. While Bob Tyrrell may be insane, he is an absolutely delightful lunatic. After that, he failed miserably at becoming a screenwriter. He was fortunate to land a job at the Health Focus. The irony here is that this is when Gutfeld began to experiment with drugs and alcohol at an alarming rate. Afterwards, he joined Men's Health as a staff writer and eventually became the magazine's editor-in-chief. After that, he took a position as editor-in-chief of Stuff, a publication owned by Dennis Publishing. But he was soon let off from his position as rumors circulated that he mocked the Girl Scouts, cat lovers, and even his boss. Along with all of this, a further event involving a number of hired midgets occurred. So, here's the deal, Gutfeld sent a bunch of dwarfs to a meeting put on by the publishers of America magazine, and they were told to be extra loud and bothersome. You probably already have a good idea of how drastically different that photo was going to be. Soon after the joke went viral, Gutfeld was let go by his employers, who were unimpressed. Following his dismissal from Stuff, he edited Dennis Publishing's Maxim magazine in the UK and became head of brand development. His term was marked by declining readership, and as a result, his contract did not be renewed. The Huffington Post was just starting up when he became an early contributor. His newfound popularity led to an introduction to Fox News, where he began anchoring the hour-long Red Eye, thanks to his satirical articles and sarcastic posts. Despite his belief that his time with magazines had come to an end, television did not entirely displace him from his literary career. It was very clear, particularly after reading his thoughts on that sector of the economy. Editing isn't a serious profession, but working for a magazine is a lot of fun. Heavy lifting is not something you do. The nation is not being protected by you. There is no one whose lives you are rescuing. If you want a profession where you can drink alcohol all the time and yet do a good job, be an editor. The percentage of editors around the globe who are inebriated at any one moment is 65%. Regardless, he continued to write, utilizing the Daily Gut blog as his online platform, all because of the internet. After Gutfeld departed Red Eye in February 2015, Tom Shilway took over as host. Plus, he launched The Greg Gutfeld Show, a late-night discussion show that aired on Saturday nights on Fox News, 3 months later. A subsequent announcement in 2021 stated that the show would change its name to Gutfeld and relocate to weeknights in the second quarter of that year. Gutfeld became the most watched late-night talk show in the United States in August, surpassing Stephen Colbert's Late Show in the ratings. On a nightly basis, the show was drawing more than 2 million viewers, more than Jimmy Kimmel Live and The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon combined. With a total of over 6 million viewers for Gutfeld and the other 5, this was merely the beginning. Gutfeld became a right-wing provocateur while he was in the spotlight, making him practically one of the biggest names in the media. Even more so because of his past work with publications like UK Maxim and Stuff, several people thought he was dishonest. Then in 2023, his inflammatory words and harsh rhetoric almost resulted to his cancellation. When Russia invaded Ukraine, there was one example. According to Gutfeld, the media were using war footage to profit by emotionally influencing viewers. The stories, as he puts it, have kind of sped up and are accumulating to create a narrative, and his words make me feel like they're pulling in only one direction. But it seems like a lot of the stories we've experienced in the digital era involve taking a picture and then playing it over and over again, for the sake of making a profit for news firms by appealing to your emotions. Fox News' Benjamin Hall, who was reporting from the heart of the conflict in Ukraine, scolded Gutfeld for his comments. It wasn't until Hall suffered a severe injury a few days later that Gutfeld saw how incorrect he had been. As a result of a surprise attack by Russian forces, a Ukrainian journalist and another Fox employee were killed. It wouldn't be the last time Gutfeld spoke a blunder. During an episode of The Five, the panelists discussed proposed changes to Florida's public school curriculum that would include lessons on how slaves learned trades that could be useful to themselves. Jewish panelist Jessica Tarlev expressed discomfort with the idea that some black people gained from slavery. Therefore, she wanted to know if the same reasoning could be used to the approximately 6 million Jews who were killed by Hitler in the Holocaust and held in concentration camps. Gutfeld asked her if she had ever read about man's desire for meaning, to which she replied yes. As Vic Frankl explains, in order to make it through a concentration camp, you had to be skilled. You needed to contribute. Utility. Survival was ensured by utility. You might have guessed that people didn't like this. The Auschwitz Memorial in particular made a 6-paragraph social media statement in response. It is true that some Jews may have survived for a while because they were considered valuable, but we must not forget that the Holocaust was a planned genocide that aimed to kill every last Jew. We should avoid such simplifications when discussing this complicated, terrible story, they added, proving their argument. Furthermore, Gutfeld was incorrect in thinking it was the final chapter. According to a statement released by the White House's spokesman, the phrase that Fox News airbrushed off yesterday and has yet to denounce is a depraved statement. Once again, a Fox News personality has insulted the memories of the millions of Holocaust victims by telling a terrible, dangerous, and severe lie. We need to clarify something that the American people fully grasp, and that is not complicated, it continued. Slavery was deeply flawed. The Holocaust was completely negative. End of discussion. Gutfeld has insinuated global Palestinian advance knowledge of the October 7 Hamas attacks, incited civil conflict, and slandered numerous former colleagues. One of his co-hosts reportedly departed due to his extreme difficulty in working with him. On the other hand, Gutfeld might explain that most of what he says is satirical if you were to ask him about it. Some individuals, however, are reading much too much into what he says. Fans used to his laid-back approach and insightful criticism would concur that he is being forthright. With 2 shows that often rank first in cable news, he certainly has the receipts to prove it. Some have even gone so far as to call Gutfeld the late-night monarch. This is why his return to the screen was much anticipated. Concerned supporters are expressing their worries through comments like these now that he has returned. Does anyone else think Greg appears weird since he returned? I know I sound worried. It seems like he's sick. It appears that he is also unwell. Neither the fatherhood nor any pictures of his child are ever shared with us. The alterations to one's look are not surprising. Gutfeld has always made it clear that he is committed to leading a healthy lifestyle through his food and fitness choices. Regarding the matter of public absences and such changes in lifestyle, any change in look might be the result. Gutfeld is a well-known celebrity who values his personal space. He obviously isn't the type of guy to talk much about his private life. His wife's pregnancy and his subsequent paternity leave to assist her and the new baby were the only complicating factors. I think you'd agree that a parent's undivided attention is necessary for a mother and child's recovery. That has nothing to do with someone falling sick or receiving a devastating prognosis. If someone's livelihood depends on social media, it's easy to assume the worst when they're gone for an extended period of time. If neither their loved ones nor their employer have made any public announcement, we will presume that they are well and wish that their absence was amusing. This is how one keeps a secret, as the proud father put it in his post announcing the arrival of his daughter. I appreciate everyone's kind comments. I will see you shortly.